Of Air India Flight 171 lay wrapped in questions, soaked in grief, and shielded by silence. It wasn't just a crash, it was a technological riddle that refused to give answers. A nightmare frozen in time, with over 200 souls vanishing into flames just seconds after takeoff. The world demanded to know, what happened inside that cockpit? What could bring down a state-of-the-art Boeing 787 Dreamliner in mere seconds, with no warning, no storm, no mechanical distress? Now, after countless theories, sleepless investigations, and hushed whispers across aviation forums, the black box has finally spoken. And what it revealed didn't just unsettle investigators. It shattered Boeing's reputation and exposed a flaw so absurd, so microscopic, that it defies logic. What you're about to hear is not just the story of a crash. It's a revelation that will haunt every engineer, every pilot, and every passenger who dares to trust the sky again. Because when the truth surfaced, it didn't point to sabotage or terrorism. It pointed to the captain's seat. The morning after the crash, while investigators combed through a landscape of scorched debris and twisted fuselage, a bright orange cylinder was spotted on the rooftop of a hospital dormitory near the site. It was the black box, more precisely, the flight data recorder, FDR, still intact, still pulsing with the final seconds of the doomed aircraft. With urgency bordering on desperation, it was rushed to India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, where a multinational team, including Boeing and GE experts, began decoding its secrets. What they found defied expectations. The Dreamliner had taken off in optimal conditions. Engines were stable, speed, climb rate, and instruments, all normal, until second 15. That's when the unthinkable happened. The captain's seat slid backward, not slowly, not gently, but violently, by nearly 30 centimeters in less than a second. A movement so sudden it caused the pilot, by pure reflex, to grab onto the thrust levers. But those levers were already at full power, and his involuntary grip yanked them straight to idle. Both engines shut down, and just like that, the aircraft became a flying coffin, 65 meters above the ground. At first, the investigators could hardly believe it. A seat? A sliding seat could cause a high-tech aircraft to nosedive into the earth? They examined the debris. The seat's locking pin, a component worth barely $20, had broken. What made this revelation even more chilling was the fact that the same pin had been repaired just 11 days earlier. Yet, no post-repair testing had been done. No stress tests, no safety verification, nothing. The entire safety of the cockpit relied on trust in a pin. In aviation, that's unheard of. And yet, here it was, the trigger that turned precision engineering into carnage. The captain's reflex to stabilize himself sealed the fate of 200 lives in under half a second. The Boeing 787's supposed backup systems? They never activated. The Dreamliner, built to fly on one engine, couldn't even stay airborne on two when those engines were silenced by human reflex and faulty hardware. And that's when the world realized this wasn't a tragic coincidence. It was a design flaw. But the mystery deepened. Was this just a one-in-a-million fluke? Or had Boeing been warned? Internal documents began to surface. Reports from engineers inside Boeing's cockpit design division, expressing concern about the very locking system used in the pilot seats. Vibrational tests had shown slippage. Senior staff had signed off on warnings that were never escalated. In fact, a critical report highlighted the exact scenario: a worn locking pin, a sudden backward slide, and a captain reacting instinctively. But Boeing's upper management never saw it, or worse, ignored it. The Dreamliner had no mechanical lock to prevent both engines from being reduced simultaneously by human reflex, and that meant the system allowed a fatal input, not because it failed, but because it obeyed. The plane did exactly what the human told it to do, and that's exactly why it crashed. This wasn't just an engineering oversight. It was a systemic failure, one that placed cost-cutting, production speed, and bureaucracy over human life. The crash of AI 171 wasn't an isolated incident. Investigators began drawing connections with other tragedies: Lion Air Flight 610, Ethiopian Airlines 302, Air France 447, all disasters triggered by seemingly minor technical quirks, overlooked fail-safes, or poor system design. In each case, Boeing or Airbus took months, sometimes years, to admit fault. And just like with the 737 MAX, Boeing's response to the AI-171 crash was silence. No acknowledgement of a faulty pin, no promise to review seat safety, no accountability. The company that builds aircraft worth over $150 million couldn't explain how a $10,000 seat part, or the lack of a mechanical override, led to a catastrophe. And now, families of victims, lawyers, engineers, and aviation watchdogs are all asking the same chilling question. If Boeing knew and didn't act, is this still a tragedy or a crime? Shortly after the black box was decoded, an international team of flight safety analysts